was a balancing force. They get rid of him. They break it up. They engage in the bombing of Belgrade with the depleted uranium. I mean, it's all just about destroying nation states that the bankers don't control. And as bad as Assad is in Syria or Gaddafi was in Libya, they're putting something far worse in. So when you hear about, oh, freedom fighters are just trying to protest, it's Al-Qaeda blowing up police stations and lining up black people in Libya and shooting them. And the media is like, oh, this guy might have said a word. We better fire him. But, oh, you're lining up blacks and shooting them? Well, that's nice. Yeah. And Bill Gates has a shot for the little black child. George Bush is hugging one. The child's crying. You know, it's all just an AFRICOM invasion PR.
Yeah, they've done actually studies where the government has proven that, you know, they had this skepticism of advertising working, and I studied a case study in college on it, and it was basically they went in with the idea that it doesn't work, but obviously they know it works, and that, you know, they show George Bush with little children, like you said, and things of that nature. Anyways, side note.
But imagine how ridiculous it would be.
It's a Christie rant right now.
If I had a black child come in here and then shot a thing with me going, I mean, people will be like, my God, Alex, this is ridiculous. But then it's George Bush and the photos everywhere. Meanwhile, AFRICOM is running in, just slaughtering everybody, arming the dictators. And they're doing it in North Africa and South Africa, you know, thousands of miles from Coney, who hadn't been seen in 5 years. And they admit, oh, yeah, it's transparent. I mean, it's just like.
Right.
I mean, the UN is in Africa, in Uganda, where they're talking about Coney, on record, lining up people and killing whole villages to take their property. And you go tell a trendy, they're like, look, dude, I got tattoos. I got all this. I'm like, okay, I don't care if you got tattoos. I'm not against those. They're like, look, I'm dressed trendy. Don't tell me Coney's not cool. And I'm like, but it's slaughtering people. And they go, dude, your hair does not look like mine right now. And I'm just like, okay, I understand you're super trendy and everything. But, you know, I mean, come on. And it's just like, and they're like, look, I choose to believe we're helping Africa. And I'm just like, okay. And like, be quiet, racist.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, all right. I mean, it's buying into the delusion. It's like, I'm a winner. I buy into the propaganda.
The next question comes to you from Husband and Dad. That's the username. Alex, you present yourself extremely well as a benchmark of civil disobedience. And there are a large number of activists that would do better if they were just a bit more civil. So could you, in your own words, define civil disobedience?
Well, I don't think I'm the benchmark of anything, really. But maybe alternative media success, but that's just because a lot of people aren't trying. Civil disobedience just means you're not Molotov cocktailing the police station. Instead, you're saying no to things that are clearly wrong and kind of peacefully sabotaging the system and putting yourself against the machinery.
Very succinct. I like that. Charles asks you, he says, Alex, my question is, could we abolish the Fed without the government's help, or is it impossible?
Yes, just like people are abolishing GMO foods by demanding organic. And none of it's perfect, but there's a process there, voting with dollars. That's why they want to get a tyranny in, because they're scared if we just vote with our dollars and our actions and the little things we do, it's over for them. It's game over.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, if everybody started doing more barter, that's why they're attacking all these little farms and Amish and these community co-ops and things. It really scares them. Getting back to old-fashioned activities in any way. Women, men, learning how to make their own clothes. That's one of the biggest things scares the system. I said that because you said your mom made that nice coat you got. A jacket, work, sports jacket, whatever you call it. I mean, they're really scared of that. Just the idea of little things cuts into their monopoly. That's what I mean, like... Picture the New World Order as this giant box store that basically resorbs you or absorbs you. So what was the question?
It was just, you know, how to be civil disobedient.
Yeah, that's it. Just.
Oh, no, that was the last question. I'm so sorry. Destroying the Fed without intervention from the government.
You just criticize it. You expose it as a private fraud, that it's the biggest welfare recipient, that it's taken over our country and the world, that they brag they've conquered us. Look how arrogant they are. And using local alternative currencies, they've got all sorts of them in all over the country, all over the world, and just realizing they're the enemy. You know, Obama comes, politicians come and go, but still the big fat bankers are sitting there.
I like that. Barter. Well, that's the civil rights movement was a huge part of that. They withdrew from riding the buses. And then they started...
Well, exactly. And also supporting local businesses. And it doesn't mean you're a purist, because you can't be. I mean, you can't buy a locally made electro voice microphone. I think that's made in Germany or Japan. I mean, this is made in Germany. And nothing against the Germans. This is actually a quality product. We actually hire some workers that actually, get something out of it, which is good. They put back in the economy. But buying local really does do something.
Or bartering. Anders asks, howdy, Alex. I like that's very Texas of you, Anders. If fractional reserve banking would be replaced by another system, what would it be replaced with? For example, an interest-free monetary system. Would that work in practice?
We debated that. It could be interest-free from state banks. I don't know about a federal bank, because that can always get taken over. But if you had state banks, they've had some big successes with that. And that's what we talked about in the first question, or one of the first, was this issue of people go, well, you've got Tarpley who's for an interest-free, system, but by a big federal bank, the Hamiltonian model. And then you got Ron Paul on over here, who is, talking about gold or silver backed. So you can't, any of these systems can be manipulated and gamed. It's mainly about a debate and monetary, people being informed monetarily, so that the system, because they can corrupt any system. If the people are informed about monetary systems, that gives a leg up against it.
Knowledge is where you start, and then it's action from there. That's what it's leading to. Warwick asks, Alex, mainstream media is now openly reporting horrific things, such as the idea of afterbirth abortion, thousands of elderly people being intentionally killed. Is this mainstream news, is this, ultimately he's asking, is this showing that we're winning? Like they're actually reporting on something that we find to be true, or are they just kind of throwing us a bone?
I used to think that all this stuff coming out was victories. And a lot of it, and it's a mixed bag. Sometimes a reporter gets it through, an editor says it's the right thing to do. And I know in the last decade, that last 5 or 6 years, that really started, where people went out and did real reporting. Their boss backed them, because maybe the newspaper editor's New World Order, but now their kid's autistic. They figure out this is important. They allow it out. So more and more people started getting the truth out. So the system kind of just went, okay, yeah, we're going to kill old people. What's the big deal? Yeah, we're going to kill kids up to age 3 if we want. So it's people telling the truth and hitting the barbed wire to get the truth out. Oh, that is a victory. But there's also a lot of just acclimating. Oh, you want the truth to come out? Yeah, open the floodgates, and suddenly in hundreds of papers, we're run by foreign banks, we're your slaves, you've been conquered by world government, there's nothing you can do about it. So see, it's kind of like the system's gone from denying all this, because they realized people weren't listening to them. It was discrediting them, denying things. So they've kind of just gone to a now open the floodgates. Oh, you think there's some tyranny? Yeah, this is what you didn't know was going on. What you going to do about that? And you're like, oh, my God, and there's hell itself right there. And they're like, yeah. So it's a lot of things. And also their agenda now is moving into light speed, so they can't hide it anymore.
They also do this in a monotone voice, if you notice. Like, does it...
Yeah, they don't want you being emotional.
Of course.
I was never successful on purpose, whereas I wasn't angry, and they're always like, don't get upset in politics. Don't be calm. That's how you get through to people. Bull crap. When everybody is in a drone, mesmerized state, they need to be awakened by it, by having their survival mechanisms in their mind activated. And I'm a guy hopping around like a dog barking. I mean, it'd be like if robbers were breaking in your house, you get up and they're like crowbarring open your garage or whatever, your car, and you look at the German Shepherd and you go, shut up. I can't believe you were barking. That is so extreme of you to be barking at them. We get upset and motivated for a reason. So I'm kind of like, rrr, 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 rrr. They're like, no, that's not how you get through to people. Everybody's like in a zombie state of sleep, and I'm like, rrr, rrr. And they're like, no, that's extreme. Don't listen to him. There is nothing going on out there.
In the employee handbook. This is how we do it around here. I See the Future user asked you, in 1998, the movie Ants shows grass, lawn made into exact shapes of New York Twin Tower skyline. How does Hollywood know a false flag years in advance? Obviously, it's all kind of coordinated. I haven't seen that clip, but there are literally, no exaggeration, 60, 70, I was about to say hundreds, it's probably in the hundreds, of news articles, things about pre-9/11. And the worst example, best example, it's horrible, is Fox Television had the Lone Gunman spinoff of
that big hit show they had, X-Files. And in it, the government hijacks a jumbo passenger jet to fly to the World Trade Centers to blame it on Afghanistan, and they use a drill to claim that hijackers got on board to cover up the fact that it's really remote control. Now, that's exactly what happened 6 months later. So I'm pointing out this is a government op. And then I get a call, Dean Haglund, the star of the show, once he was in the X-Files too, wants to come to my house and talk to me. And he shows up, it's Dean Haglund from television. He goes, yeah, the CIA approached us and planted that story. And they did it with others. Well, I mean, obviously, why do they do that then? It's like a pre-programming thing.
Ties back into that news idea.
Yes, so subconsciously you're ready for it, but also it's a message so the bankers that run the CIA, they can say to the Russians and others, we're not going to say who did 9/11, but did you see Fox's lone gunman? Don't play games with us, okay? If we'll do that, we'll do anything. We're ready for nuclear war with you. You submit and do what we want, and you shoot your people up with cancer viruses or you're all dead too. So they put these in messages so they can go, we're not going to tell you what we're going to do, but have you seen this movie? Right. How many other movies we make come true? And I saw this with Gary Hart. I saw this with Gary Hart when he wrote a letter to Ahmadinejad saying, we've staged terror attacks before, we'll do it again. He published it in the Huffington Post. And when Luke Rudkowski, or it was other folks we are changed, I forget, but it's in our film, Truth Rising. They confronted me. He goes, I didn't write that. When they pulled the letter, he goes, oh, I did, but it's a mock letter. He started sweating and freaking out. Like, I got one that could see. He couldn't believe that was happening. I mean, that's a really great question right there they just asked. What's the last one for today? 26 tomorrow. I just did 24, and I'm going to go shoot the news right now. No rest for the wicked. I didn't know I was this wicked. But
all right, so Sovereign Think asks you, this is the last question, so this is technically 24. What are your thoughts on the NSTIC program? Is it dangerous as I think? Is it as dangerous as I think? Required biometric access for the internet?
3 or 4 years ago, they already had that built into the new Microsoft stuff, and that's what they plan is an internet ID so they can tax you, track you, trace you. And Google's already changing stuff so they know who you really are if you have multiple accounts so they can ban you from the internet.
I'm not familiar with it. Is it like a thumbprint situation?
Yeah, they're going to make you thumbprint and face scan to buy and sell, get on the internet, you name it. If you're not a good globalist, you can't travel, you can't live, you can't do anything. And people will be like, I don't want to help you. They'll turn my ID off. And so it'll be the ultimate fear. And if they get to that point, it's going to be devastating. Like, I can't upload Alex Jones videos. He's been banned before. And if you do, you get banned from the system. I need my creds on my card, and I need it. I need it. So, I mean, it is absolute takeover by that little criminal Bill Gates. Well, and that is a hell of a way to end it. I want to start back with that when I'm fresh tomorrow.
All right, we'll just reissue that.
We'll start over with 24 because that is an incredibly important question.
Absolutely.
All of them were great. PlanetInfowars.com. Go there, meet, use the web while we've still got it. Organize. It's in beta, but it's working a lot better than it was a few months ago when we first launched it.
Absolutely.
Spread the word about it. Make your own YouTube videos about it. PlanetInfowars.com. Christy, take us out of here.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Keep your questions coming. They're amazing to read. Ask Alex on PlanetInfowars.com.